Long before the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs squared off in Super Bowl 54, the two franchises were already steeped in Super Bowl history. The Chiefs played in two of the first four big games, and the 49ers won four championships in the 80s, and another in 1995, and lost one in 2013. Not surprisingly, several players from these franchises shined bright in the Super Bowl, sometimes even when they were playing for other teams. Here then is a list of the men who won the Super Bowl MVP award and played for either the Chiefs or the 49ers, or both, at some point in their careers. And because we're collectors here, we'll check out their rookie cards along the way. 1963 Fleer Len Dawson, number 47. Len Dawson and the Chiefs may have dropped the first Super Bowl to the Green Bay Packers 35-10 in January 1967, and Dawson himself may have been left for dead when he suffered a devastating knee injury in the second game of the 1969 season. But he hobbled back into the lineup after missing just 5 games, and after backup Mike Livingston ran up a 6-0 record. Dawson was back in the saddle full-time by the playoffs and guided Kansas City to road victories over the New York Jets and Oakland Raiders, and then handed the Minnesota Vikings the first of their four 1970s Super Bowl losses, 23-7. In that game, Dawson passed for 142 yards and a single touchdown, a 46-yarder to Otis Taylor in the third that represented the last points in the contest. It was enough to earn the Geezer quarterback Super Bowl MVP honors. Incidentally, it was also the last game ever played by an AFL team, as the AFL and NFL merger gave birth to one league and two conferences, the AFC and the NFC, in 1970. Though Dawson started out with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1957, he didn't land a rookie card until the 1963 Fleer issue. The startup got the jump on Topps by a year. The Dawson rookie card is a toughie and runs into the hundreds raw or thousands in high grades, depending on condition and whether it's graded. 1972 Topps Jim Plunkett, number 65. Plunkett was the first overall pick of the New England Patriots in the 1971 NFL Draft, after winning the Heisman Trophy in 1970. He threw a lot of picks and took a lot of hits and sacks in 5 years with the Pats before they traded him to the San Francisco 49ers. After 2 seasons by the Bay, he headed, across the Bay to the Oakland Raiders. In his second season with the Men in Black, Plunkett led the Raiders to a victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 15. In that one, Plunkett passed 261 yards and 3 TDs to cop MVP honors. His 1972 Topps rookie card ranges from less than $20 to $150 or more in the high-end graded copies. 1981 Topps Joe Montana, number 216. You know all about Joe Montana, but just in case, the gist is, teamed with Bill Walsh to make the West Coast offense a thing and the 49ers a force, won 4 Super Bowls and 3 SB MVP awards in the process. Teamed with Jerry Rice to become Montana to Rice, lost that to Young to Rice, and the Niners quarterback job to Steve Young. Signed with the Chiefs on big 3-year free agent deal, led them to 2 playoff appearances, then retired. Oh yeah, Montana also set the hobby on fire with his 1981 Topps rookie card, a relic that still stirs collector emotions today. Expect 3 figures plus, unless half of it is missing. 1983 Topps Marcus Allen, number 294. After a season as Mark Wilson's backup and a strike-shortened 1982, Plunkett had the Raiders back in the Super Bowl after the 1983 season, with a lot of help from his friends. Chief among those was second-year running back Marcus Allen from USC. After a Heisman performance at Southern Cal, Allen was the 10th overall pick in 1982. And after racking up 1,000-plus yards in his second season in 1983, Allen pounded the Washington Redskins in Super Bowl 18 to the tune of 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yep, that was an MVP performance in the Raiders' 38-9 victory, one of many accolades in Allen's Hall of Fame career. His 1983 Topps rookie card has been at popular buy for nearly 40 years and remains a classic today. 1985 Topps Richard Dent, number 24. The 1985 Chicago Bears were one of the greatest teams of all time, and maybe the greatest one-season champs, though they gave it a good ride in 1986 as well. And though the team featured the legendary Walter Payton and other big names like Jim McMahon, Willie Gault, and William Perry, the Fridge, on offense, it was Buddy Ryan's legendary 46 defensive unit that carried the day most of the time. So as Mike Ditka's team stormed through the playoffs and practiced their Super Bowl shuffle, there were plenty of dudes on D who could dominate any given game. Mike Singletary, Dan Hamilton, Gary Finsick, Wilbur Marshall, Otis Wilson, Perry. The names roll off the tongue of longtime football fans. But it was first-year starter Richard Dent who led the NFL in sacks, 17, and copped Super Bowl 20 MVP honors by virtue of a sack and a half and name recognition at defensive end. In truth, the Patriots were overmatched by just about every Bear in that 46-10 Drubing, so you could have picked MVP from a hat. Dent is a rightful denizen of Canton, though, and his rookie card in the iconic black border 1985 top set looks as menacing as ever and remains a collector favorite. Oh, right, the Chief Niners connection. Dent played 2 games for San Fran in 1994, the year Young led them to the Super Bowl victory over the San Diego Chargers. 2014 Panini Prestige, Malcolm Smith, number 200. The Seattle Seahawks selected Smith in the 7th round of the 2011 NFL Draft out of USC, and he never really did become a full-time starter in his 4 seasons in the Northwest. The middle linebacker did make it into Super Bowl 48 against the Denver Broncos after his 3rd season, though, and he made the most of it. Smith tied for the team lead with 10 tackles and also recovered a fumble. Big news, though, was the Peyton Manning pass he picked off and ran back for a 69-yard touchdown in the 2nd quarter. It was all part of Seattle's 43-8 blowout and enough to garner Smith MVP honors. After another year in Seattle, Smith was off to Oakland for 2 seasons before spending 2018 with the Niners to make our list. He split 2019 between the Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Debuting as he did during the modern card era, Smith offers collectors a few choices when it comes to rookie cards. We're going to go with the 2014 Panini Prestige because it shows Smith with the Seahawks and because it looks pretty cool. You won't have to break the bank with this one either. We're going to go with the 2014 Panini Prestige because it shows Smith with the Seahawks and because it looks pretty cool, and you won't have to break the bank to buy this one either. We're going to go with the 2014 Panini Prestige because it shows Smith with the Seahawks and because it looks pretty cool. You won't have to break the bank with this one either. 2012 Nick Foles, number 186. Foles is the guy that Philadelphia Eagles never really seemed to want, but who pulled their butts out of the fire over and over again. A 3rd-round pick in 2012 out of Arizona, Foles quickly became a relief specialist. Phillies called on him anytime their starter went down or self-destructed. They even traded him to the St. Louis Rams before the 2015 season, which eventually led him to the Chiefs after the Rams released him in the summer of 2016. Foles relieved KC starter Alex Smith after the latter suffered a concussion, but Smith soon reclaimed his job. In all, Foles played 3 games and started 1 for the Chiefs. They released him in March of 2017. The Eagles signed him that month as a free agent to back up 2nd-year quarterback Carson Wentz, who went on a tear that fall and then tore his ACL in Game 14. Foles relieved Wentz in that game and led the Eagles on a storied run that accumulated in a Super Bowl 52 victory over the Patriots and an SB MVP award for Foles. The Eagles and Foles danced around for another year before Wentz's predictability nailed down the starting job for good. Foles left as a free agent in 2019, landing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like Smith, Foles offers up a lot of options for his rookie card. We're going with the standard Topps issue here, showcasing a classic throwing motion from Foles. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel, waxpackgods.com.